Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow, and I am wearing a hat, and Jerry is not.
Yes, I'm all hair day.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready for the state tournament.
Yes, me too. Oh, yeah.
2.5 months.
2.5 months.
State tournament.
We're a week from Christmas. We're taping today, Tuesday, the 18th of December, and a week today is Christmas. What's our schedule coming up? Do we tape next week? I think
we'll take next week off, and then we'll get back at the first of the year.
Okay.
So we'll work it out.
Yeah.
We'll get some shows in.
The last couple of weeks, we've had some high school hockey coaches. Billy Owens from
Duluth Marshall. That's taken over for Brendan Flaherty this year. And then we had Coach Mike Randolph, the Hall of Fame coach from Duluth East.
Let's talk about that. Was it that night or the next day they had a game at Heritage against Cloquet?
Right.
And what a game it was. But Mike Randolph was inducted into the Minnesota High School Coaching Hall of Fame.
Right. That's for all sports.
Yeah.
So it's a great honor, and he deserved it. He earned it. He put his time in, and
sure,
he keeps on ticking.
Let's talk about that game. Cloquet jumps out to an early 1-0 lead. There was a penalty late in the game in overtime, late in the third period that carried into the overtime period. And Logan gets out of the penalty box, gets a beautiful pass.
I think from Ricky Lyle.
And wins the game on a nice deke play on the goalie, and East pulled out a 2-1 win over Cloquet Esco Carleton.
And throw away the records. Cloquet started out slow this year, but their schedule was so strong that it was hard to even be 500 with the schedule they had. But when they play East, it's going to be a 1-goal game.
And it was.
You just know.
Yeah.
And the fans, were another full house. And another great game with one of the best rivalries in the state, if not the best.
I mentioned something to Rick Jordan. Rick Jordan with KDAL Radio did Bulldog hockey over the years, did the post game and stuff. And I mentioned that to him, and he says, "Nah," he says, Edina. He goes, "Edina Richfield was big." I said, "Yeah, but it's no longer."
Richfield doesn't even have a team no more.
Exactly. And then he says, Edina and anybody else. I thought, well, no.
No, it's not even close.
Rick, it's East and
no.
Okay.
There's three games each year that are big in high school hockey. It's White Bear Lake, Hill Murray, which is this Saturday night. East Cloquet, which they play twice, home and home. So, and the other one, but it has gone, it's not the same as it has been because both teams haven't been that really good, but it's still for their neighbors to play each other is Roro. Those are the three biggest games of the year in high school hockey for rivalries.
Okay, all right.
Take it from me.
I will. So tonight, Tuesday the 18th, we're taping. Centennial is hosting Duluth East.
Right. East goes on the road for 3 games. They got Centennial down there. And
actually, they go on the road for 5. They play at Marshall. At Mars on the 20th, and then they'll be at Lakeville North on the 22nd and Champlain Park on the 28th. Yeah, and Blaine on the 29th.
Right, and Blaine's playing pretty good hockey right now. So they got some tough games coming up.
I want to come back to you, and we talked to Coach Randolph about this game with Andover, this 2-1 overtime loss for East. Give me your analysis on that game. These are probably the 2 best teams in the section.
Oh, by far.
Okay.
By far.
Was the score indicative of the game?
The game, I would say Andover just had a little bit better game. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I'll give that to the home rink advantage.
So next time they play?
It's going to, here's the thing. It's early in the year. And I've watched Coach Randolph for almost 30 years. He will always have his team ready when playoffs. You know that. He does the best job of any coach out there getting his team ready by playoffs. He might have a terrible December, but when it comes to the playoff time, he knows which kids to put in there and which ones to sit more. So he shortens the bench and he knows what he's doing.
So Duluth East currently sitting at 4-1. Tonight they play Centennial. What is your scouting report on this game tonight, Jared?
Centennial lost one of their big D. I think he's coming to UMD too. LaFrance. And
Lost him for the season? Or?
oh, he went to juniors early.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a key loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost some other key forwards that graduated. So I think Centennial is not a top 10 team this year. But they're always going to be in that like 15 to 20 all the time, even when they're lose some good players. They're always going to be there because their programs are so good. They're Bantams and Pee-wees and year in and year out. So it's going to be a test. And East always has a problem on that big sheet of ice down there in Centennial. They always have a hard time there. So I'm sure Centennial's going to give them a game.
Other high school news, Duluth Denfeld, have you...
They went down to New Prague, and New Prague had it on them. They lost 7-3, so now they're back home, and hey, they have to get things started again. But their nice thing is their Bantam A team just won the Lake Superior Classic. I think they called it the Pee-wee and Bantam A tournament here in Duluth. Denfeld won the Bantam A.
Okay.
So they got some good kids coming in next year.
Good. So they lost at New Prague.
Right.
And then they'll play at Superior Thursday the 20th.
And Superior has their best start in about 6-7 years right now. They're 6-1, I think.
Okay.
Or 7-1. But yeah, they're a very good team, and all these over-the-border teams are going to have a tough time with them.
How did Denfeld do in that Virginia Mountain Iron Buell game?
That tied. So
really?
So, Denfeld will be close to that in the top 4 seeds for 7A. It'll be 5 teams. It'll be Hermantown for sure will be number 1. You got Greenway, Evelyn, Gilbert, Virginia, and Denfeld are the 5 teams, and so they like to get in the first 4 because that way you'll have the home advantage in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Again, we had Duluth Marshall head coach Billy Owens on with us, and it was the night that they played Hermantown, and I said, they're beatable. Hermantown kind of took it to them.
Right. They did. If you're not on your game and with good teams, they can destroy you fast. And that's what happened. And your goalie has to be on. And but they came back on Saturday and they beat
Holy
Angels team 3-1, I think it was.
Okay.
So they came back. So you have to give them credit there. I think they're doing a lot better than I thought they would after losing 2D. One went to juniors and one decided not to play hockey. He was a D1 baseball recruit, so he's going to go into baseball.
And your head coach.
Yeah.
So that was the Fill the Rink last Saturday against Holy Angels. Were you at the game?
No, I was down in the cities watching hockey.
So we didn't talk about it with Coach Randolph too much or Coach Owens, but my goodness, East and Marshall, and this is a matchup we talked about over the years that we hoped would happen, and here now it's been happening the last couple of years. And we really didn't talk much about it, but East and Marshall will play Thursday the 20th at Mars, 7 o'clock.
Remember the first year when Marshall moved up to AA, and Coach Randolph said he'll play you when you move up, and he did.
Yeah.
That very first game, Marshall came out and beat them 4-0, and they had it at Amsoil.
I remember that.
Yeah,
sure.
They had it at Amsoil.
Yeah.
They thought they needed a bigger rink.
Have they beaten them since?
No, they haven't.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So
East is going to remember that game for a long time.
Yeah. First time they play each other in years, and all of a sudden they shut them.
That's funny. Well, good for Marshall.
Yeah.
East has always had the accolades, and deservingly. The UMD Bulldogs, we haven't heard from them lately. What are they doing now? They're going to play in this Arizona State tournament.
Yeah, their exams last couple of weeks, and so they haven't played any games. And but then their coach is out in the World Juniors.
Sandlin.
Yeah,
What's he doing?
he's coaching, assistant coach
Okay.
for the U20
okay.
team.
Aye, okay.
And so he won't be out there in Arizona. So Jason Herder is going to be the coach out there. And they
really?
they play Minnesota State, Mankato. So that's a big game because UMD and all the polls, UMD and Minnesota State are 3 and 4 in almost every poll out there.
Yeah.
So, and then the winner gets to play the winner of Union and Arizona State.
Yeah.
And both of those teams are in the top 15. Let me see if I see it. Well, the USA Today, USCHO didn't have a poll yesterday, a Monday. And so I went to the USA. They got Arizona State 13 and Union 14. So you got 4 top-ranked teams in the top 15 in
It'll be a good tournament.
And I bet they never saw that coming, you know.
The next opportunity to see the Bulldogs at Amsoil Arena will happen next year, and that game is January 5th against the USA 18 team. The next time they play for games that count are January 11th and 12th. St. Cloud comes to.
So you got the U18 team coming in on the 5th?
Yes.
At what time?
7 o'clock.
Well, here, if hockey fans, if you want to see young kids, first of all, at 3 in the afternoon, go to the Heritage Center, and the number 1 team in the state is coming up, Minnetonka, to play Duluth East. Then from there, go down to Amsoil and see the best kids.
18.
18.
Yeah.
That'll be up in the draft this year.
Nice.
Almost everyone from that development team will get drafted.
But again, looking at this January 11th, 12th, St. Cloud State and UMD at Amsoil Arena.
That's going to be a great series.
Wow.
I can't wait for that. And both teams have so many Minnesota kids. That's what I like about this series. And they're both top ranked. I mean,
Wonder if NBC Sports Network will acknowledge that game or
maybe CBS might have one of those games.
Sure. So
that's possible.
Yeah. All right.
That'll be great. So right off the first of the year, we got a lot of big hockey games up here in the Twin Ports.
Yeah.
So that'll be neat, high school and college.
What are the Wilderness doing?
Wilderness are holding their own. I mean, they split and they've had some injuries and that, but they're doing all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think their second half, they got things together. They got a goalie that's playing pretty decent, and I think they have a chance to run for the playoffs again.
Good.
So right now they're in 5th place, but they're moving up. They're moving up.
Okay.
So
I know Scholastica was ranked a couple of weeks ago.
But then they played the top ranked team, or no, one of the top.
They lost
number 5.
They lost to Augsburg.
Yeah, number 5.
And then they beat I think St. John's.
Yeah.
So
they're playing real good.
They are. They are. Tim Matson, head coach.
He was Elk River. He played his high school in Elk River, and
really,
he coached the Wilderness last year.
He's an Elk.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
There you go.
All right. What else, Jer?
I got rankings for high school. We haven't said them for a few weeks.
Let's hear the rankings for high school.
Let's go Class AA right away. Starting off at 7-0 record, Minnetonka, last year's state champion, and they beat Duluth East in the championship game.
7-0.
They're 7-0 so far. Next one, Edina, 6-0-1. They just the Edina Classic, they just killed everyone. Grand Rapids, Elk River, and Eden Prairie. And they beat everyone by 5 or 6 goals every game. So they got some players on that team. Number 3, Andover. They're 6-0.
Jeez.
St. Thomas Academy, number 4, 5-1-1. And they're 1-1. The loss and tie are against teams above them. So Duluth East, 4-1. They lost only Andover.
Got them ranked at 5.
Yes. And the team I'm really watching, I like this team. I mean, if they stay healthy, I think we got a team that could upset everyone and run through to the state championship.
And that-
Maple Grove.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they got some skaters on this team.
All right.
And number 7, they don't have any stars, but they have team players where, like the first 3 lines, you can't tell the difference between first line, second line, third line.
Yeah.
So they just work hard, and it's a nice team to have all team players, so no one's, well, here's the score, and that, we'll just give the puck to him. It's not that type of team. So this is a nice team.
And that
Wayzata.
team, Wayzata, the Trojans.
You got it.
Uh-huh.
You know they're Trojans.
Yes.
Okay, Eden Prairie didn't have a couple players the other night when they played Edina, and they lost 6-1, but they're a very good team, and 2 of their top players weren't playing. So, but they're 4-2-1. Number 9, Rosemont. They haven't been in the top 10 for a long time.
What's going on there?
They're 5-1, and they're just keep on ticking along. They're beating these teams down in the southern part of in their conference, and
Yeah.
so it's a nice team. And then number 10, White Bear Lake. Duluth East played them the first game of the year, and they came out 3-0 the first 3 minutes against East. But
Yeah.
East came back
Yeah.
with 2 empty netters, and they won 6-3.
Okay.
But teams to watch, there's a ton right now, but as the season goes on, I'll drop a few. But Blaine, Blake, Bloomington, Jefferson, Benil, Centennial, Chaska, Cretin, Egan, Elk River, Hill Murray, Holy Family, Lakeville North, Lakeville South, Moorhead, Prior Lake, Rochester Century, Stillwater, St. Michael, Albertville.
That's a lot of teams to watch.
Yes, but these teams will be switching off and trying to get into the top 10, But right now, I would say the top 3 teams in AA are the real teams right now. And then we got 3 or 4.
Whoa. Minnetonka, Edina, and Andover.
Right.
Okay.
And then I think the next group's going to be St. Thomas, Duluth East, Maple Grove. And then the group and with the rest are kind of, depends on what week and what game. And
So are you saying that these teams here will probably be at the top throughout the season and then pick 1 or 2 here?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. There'll be change over there.
Class A.
Class A. Well, I'm keeping St. Cloud Cathedral. They're 7-0 in first place.
Okay.
But Hermantown had a good week. They killed New Prague 10-0, and they beat another team. Who was it? They beat them pretty good, 7-3 on last. When was it? Thursday. Oh, it was Duluth Marshall.
Yeah. Yep.
Duluth Marshall. Yeah. So I mean, they're playing real good hockey now. But Hermantown number 2. East Grand Forks, number 3. They're killing everyone lately.
8-1.
Yep. And Montemita, number 4. They're 4-1. Alexandria, 5-2. They had a hard week. They lost close game to St. Cloud Cathedral. Then East Grand Forks killed them. Number 6. Now we're going. You take those first 4 teams, 5 teams, but then, like I say in the other part, I'm AA. These next teams can come off the top 10 and come in.
Sure.
But number 6, Thief River Falls, 5-3-2. Sartell St. Stephen, number 7,
Really?
5-1.
Oh.
Malm, Wistonka, 7-2. Orono, 4-3. Last year's state championship team.
You got them at number 9?
Right. Tortina Grace, this is their last year in Class A. They're moving up to AA.
Really?
They're 5-2.
Totino Grace.
Yeah, and they play Hermantown this week.
Okay.
Then we got teams to watch: Detroit Lakes, Duluth Denfield, Evelyn Gilbert, Greenway, all these Section 7A teams. Litchfield, Mankato East, Minneapolis, War Road, and Virginia.
Is Laverne's time come and gone?
Yeah, but St. Cloud, the old coach of Laverne, he's at St. Cloud Cathedral, so he must be a pretty good coach in that. And
Okay.
he's at number 1 and now at St. Cloud Cathedral.
So you got the Golden Bears as teams to watch, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they beat Chaska, AA team in the top 10
Nice.
earlier this year.
Nice. Okay.
So
All right.
there you go with the high school rankings for December 16th, 2018.
Minnesota Wild got bumped by Calgary at home the other night. Boy, Calgary's got a great team. What are the stats? They're the best third period team in the NHL, And in the last 10 games, they're 8-1-1. I believe they're third in the conference.
They're second right now.
Okay.
Oh, they're tied. Wait, really? They got
Winnipeg.
They got Winnipeg, Nashville, and Calgary with 46 points.
Oh, okay.
And then Winnipeg has a little advantage because they're one less game played than Calgary and Nashville.
All right.
Those are the three best teams in the Western. Mm-hmm. But then Anaheim's been playing real good lately.
Anaheim 9-1.
They started out slow too.
Yeah, 9-1 in their last 10.
Right. They got 43, so they're up and coming. Colorado, they got this one. He must be a Finlander. Mikko Rantanen, 56 points already.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
They got some young forwards.
Yeah. So Colorado, and the team that Minnesota Wild were playing tonight, San Jose. Mm-hmm. Brett Burns comes back. The old Minnesota Wild.
Is he shaved yet?
It's down to almost his knee now.
Come on, Brett, man.
He just got his 600 point.
Isn't that something?
For a defenseman, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to Brent.
That's a player we should have never let go.
Nope.
Who did we get for him?
Charlie Coyle, I think.
Yeah, there might have been another player in there.
Yeah, there was another. There's more in that.
Yep.
I think the main one was Charlie Coyle.
Yep.
But in talking about pro hockey, the kid that's scored more goals than anyone by far, Alex Ovechkin, 29. And he's not a kid.
Ovi.
He's amazing.
He really is. He really is.
He must be about 35 years old, right? 35, 36.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying right in that area.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Got his name on the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, he's happy, and he's got vodka in his stomach, and he's ready to go.
I don't know that it's happened too often, and I'm sure, but statistically, how often has a team won the Stanley Cup when the Washington Capitals won, and their coach leaves to go to another team? Barry Trotz went to the New York Islanders. Just when I saw that, I had heard after the fact that there was some contract issues. They weren't willing to give him a raise or what have you, and I don't know if that's true, but not too often that a coach leaves a team after winning the Stanley Cup. At least I don't think so.
Right. Well, it's kind of funny. Chuck Fletcher, the former GM for the Minnesota Wild, he picked up a job, same kind of job over in Philadelphia Flyers.
Speaking of Philadelphia.
Yeah, and then what does he do right away?
Fired the coach.
North Dakota Sioux.
Hackstall out.
Out. Mm-hmm. No wonder they call him the Fighting Hawks now.
And they've got a revolving door at the goalie. They have had 6 different goalies start in the first 35 games in Philly. I think it's an NHL record.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Crawford in Chicago, he's out with a concussion.
He's been in a lot of injuries in the last 3 or 4 years.
You know, you look at the NHL standings in the Western Conference, and these could be the top 4 teams in any given year. LA, Chicago, St. Louis, well, maybe Dallas, but LA and Chicago and St. Louis at the bottom of the Western Conference.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, they got a lot of catching up to do.
But I don't think they're going to catch up to these teams.
But
here.
right now, Minnesota, if they stopped the league right now today, Minnesota would not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're 1 team away.
I believe they're 3, maybe 4 games above 500 as of.
The only good thing is they got 2-3 games less than the other teams above them, so that can help. But they got a tough schedule when you have to go and play like San Jose and all these teams above them.
Yeah, the key to and Dumba's out now. Dumba's got an upper body injury.
I think it happened during the fight because he never really came back after that fight.
Boy, that Calgary game, that was old school.
Well, they had a little problem in the game before up in Calgary where Koivu got kneed there and then something else happened.
What's Koivu's status?
Yeah, I think he's going to be coming back. He's been skating.
Okay.
But I like it with Parisi and Niederreiter and Coyle. They finally are moving.
Yeah.
And Parisi always moved, but the other two, I think it's helping.
Yeah.
Getting the Parisi on that line, and they've been scoring. Tell you the truth, the last 3 games, even though they lost to Calgary, the last 3 games, this is the best Minnesota Wild have looked all year. So
Well,
I
okay.
hope it keeps on going. I know they're going to miss Dumba on the power play.
Yeah,
But,
for sure. Let's see. So you've got the last 3 games: Montreal, which they won handedly.
7-1.
Florida 5-1, and then Calgary they lost 2-1 in a tough game. That was a tough loss, really. Okay, Jer. Well, we've come to the end of the program. Any final thoughts?
Well, there's going to be a lot of high school tournaments during Christmas week, and if you're up here in Duluth, the Hilltopper, and I think the Heritage Center has something tournament going too, and there'll be a lot of games up here and in the Twin Cities. There's some big tournaments down there, so get out and see some high school hockey. And after the first of the year, the colleges all start again, D1, and the Wild are playing all the way through.
Won't see the Bulldogs until they won't play rather until December 28th, 29th in Arizona in that tournament out there. But we got to go. We want to thank the staff at PACT-TV in downtown Duluth, where this program is produced, in City Hall. Check out our websites. We've got a YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube channel. Facebook, like us on Facebook. And Minnesota Hockey Connection, check out that website as well. And Jared, we'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
See you at the rink, and Merry Christmas.